Welcome to the Deep Dive. I'm Mark Buzz.
And I'm Anna Bugs. I'm your creepy crawly guide.
Today we're going deep on a topic you might not want to think about too much: cockroaches, right here in San Diego.
Right in our backyards.
Exactly. We're basing this whole deep dive on this article we found from Simple Pest Management.
Oh, yeah, they're a local company, right?
Yeah, so they really know their stuff. And one thing that really caught my eye, just starting off, is they said a single female cockroach can have like hundreds of babies.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot of roaches.
So if you just see one little guy skittering around,
you might have a much bigger problem.
you might have a whole family reunion happening in your walls.
You don't want that.
All right, so let's meet the suspects. This article breaks it down into 4 main types of cockroaches you're likely to see in San Diego.
Okay, the A-list roaches.
The A-list roaches, exactly. So first up, we've got the German cockroach.
Yes.
Now, these are like the tiny terrors of the kitchen and bathroom.
Yeah, they're the ones with the 2 dark stripes down the back.
Yeah, you know, ones that like disappear the second you try to swat them?
Oh, yeah, like little ninjas.
Little ninjas, exactly.
5.
And that's what makes them so tough to control.
Yeah, they're like little tiny ninjas.
Then you've got the American cockroach.
All right.
These are the big guys. They're reddish-brown. They have that figure-8 pattern on their head. It almost looks like a mask.
That's creepy.
Yeah, little creepy.
I think of those ones when I hear the word cockroach.
Yeah, those are the stereotypical.
Yeah, not a fan.
Not a fan. But they can actually be a lot more than just annoying. They can actually spread some pretty serious diseases.
All right, I'm listening now.
Okay, so moving on, we have the Oriental cockroaches,
Okay.
sometimes called water bugs.
Mm-hmm.
They're shiny black and love to hang out in damp, cool spots like basements, leaky pipes.
So if you see them, you might have a leak.
It's a built-in leak detector.
Yeah, little warning sign.
Yeah, check your pipes if you see one of those guys.
Uh-huh.
And last but not least, we have the brown-banded cockroach.
Okay.
Now, these are small. They've got those light brown bands, so they might be mistaken for German cockroaches.
Okay.
But these guys are a bit more versatile than the Germans.
So they don't need as much moisture.
They don't need all that moisture. You can find them pretty much anywhere in the house.
Oh, they're like cockroach survivors.
You're the ultimate survivor.
Ultimate survivors.
Okay, so we've met our cockroach lineup.
Mm-hmm.
But now here's the big question.
Okay, shoot.
Why should we care about these guys? Beyond just the E factor.
Yeah, good question.
Because honestly, the answer might actually surprise you.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
It's more than just them being gross. They actually pose some serious health risks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know you think they're not exactly known for their hygiene,
Not exactly the cleanest creatures.
but they can carry some pretty nasty bacteria, like Salmonella E. coli.
Oh, no.
And you know those American cockroaches we talk about?
yeah, the big ones.
The big ones, they can pick up these things in sewers
Uh-huh.
and then track them all over our food.
No, thank you.
And it's not even just about what they're carrying on their little bodies.
Oh, so there's more.
Their droppings, their shed skin,
Oh, gross.
even their saliva
Ugh.
can trigger allergies and make asthma worse,
Really?
especially in children.
Oh, no, that's not good.
So it's like they're a walking health hazard.
Literally crawling around.
Crawling, yeah, I guess walking isn't quite the right word.
Well, some people say they fly too, so maybe
Oh, don't even get me started on that.
flying cockroaches, that's a whole other level.
That's a whole other episode.
Yeah, we'll save that for another time.
Makes you wonder how climate change might affect which types we see more of here in San Diego.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like, if they're so adaptable,
right.
could some of these roaches actually thrive?
Like, could we see more of a certain type as the climate changes?
That's a really good question. It's actually something we're going to dig into a little bit later in this deep dive.
Okay, stay tuned for that.
But first, let's talk about what we can actually do about these little guys.
All right, I'm ready to fight back.
Me too. Let's get those roaches out of here.
Let's do it.
Well, the good news is there are some things you can do
Okay, tell me.
to try and keep those populations down.
Right, get them under control.
And this article from Simple Pest Management, they really stress the importance of sanitation.
Oh, so just like cleaning.
Cleaning, but it's like more than just wiping down the counters.
Oh, okay.
It's about really being thorough
Okay.
and thinking like a cockroach.
Thinking like a cockroach.
Like, for example, are you storing all your food
Uh-huh.
in airtight containers?
Oh, I see, because even little crumbs
Exactly.
can attract them.
They can have a feast.
A cockroach.
And don't forget about those hard-to-reach places.
Oh, yeah, behind the fridge.
Behind the fridge, I've found some scary things back there.
Oh, we've all been there.
But those are like cockroach heaven.
Right, it's dark, undisturbed.
Exactly. They've got easy access to all the snacks.
And we can't forget moisture.
Moisture.
We were talking about that earlier.
Right. We know some of these roaches love damp areas.
Right.
So even a small leak,
Could be a problem.
a little drip can attract them. And remember those Oriental cockroaches?
Oh, yeah, those are the leak detectors.
Is there a sign you might have excess moisture somewhere?
Good point.
So basically, you want to make your house as unappealing as possible.
To a cockroach.
To a cockroach.
Exactly.
Make them feel unwelcome.
But what happens if we do end up with a problem?
Right. What if we already have them?
What are our options?
Yeah, what can we do?
Well, There are a few targeted treatments that could be effective.
Okay, like what?
So one option is baits.
Baits?
You know, those gels and pastes?
Okay.
You can place them in areas where you've seen the roaches.
Oh, so it's like setting a trap for them.
Exactly, like a little cockroach buffet.
But a deadly buffet.
But a deadly buffet, right? And then there's crack and crevice treatment.
Crack and crevice treatment.
Sounds a little intense.
Yeah, a little.
But it's also very effective. Okay, so how does that work?
So basically, you seal up any potential entry points.
Like cracks in the wall, gaps around pipes.
Exactly. And then you apply insecticide.
Right into those cracks.
Directly into the cracks.
So they can't even get in.
It's like a barrier.
Yeah, like a defensive perimeter.
Exactly. But sometimes DIY just isn't enough.
Sometimes you need the professionals.
Sometimes you need to call in the big guns.
Yeah, I know. I've been there.
Especially if you're dealing with a really big infestation or like a recurring problem.
Right, like they just keep coming back.
These professional pest control companies, they have all the tools,
And the knowledge.
the experience to really handle it.
Okay, so what kind of tools are we talking about?
Well, they use a variety of methods,
Okay.
including baits, but also things like insect growth regulators or IGRs.
IGRs?
Sounds pretty high-tech.
It does.
It is. They work by disrupting the cockroach life cycle.
So they can't reproduce.
Exactly. They can't reproduce. So it's a long-term solution.
Okay, so you're not just killing the ones that are there.
You're stopping them from making more.
Oh, that's smart.
And those professional companies are also trained to identify the exact type of cockroach you're dealing with.
So it's not one size fits all.
Not one size fits all. They can tailor the treatment.
That makes sense.
But remember that question we had about climate change?
Oh, yeah? Could climate change actually change which roaches are winning?
Exactly.
Like the top roaches?
The top roaches, yeah. Well, climate change is having a huge impact.
On everything.
On everything, including insects.
Including our cockroaches.
So as temperatures rise,
Yeah.
weather patterns change.
We might see some roaches do really well.
Yes, some might thrive while others struggle.
So could we see more of those American cockroaches?
The heat-loving ones.
Yeah, here in San Diego.
It's definitely possible they're already adapted to those warmer climates.
Right.
So yeah, rising temperatures could give them an advantage.
And what about the other roaches?
Well, the ones that prefer those cooler, dampened environments,
Yeah.
they might have a harder time.
Things dry out.
Exactly. It's like a cockroach Game of Thrones.
Survival of the fittest.
Exactly. And it's not just about temperatures either.
Right.
It's about rainfall.
Oh, yeah, like those oriental cockroaches that love moisture.
Exactly. If we have a prolonged drought,
They might disappear.
their numbers could really decline. So it's like these tiny creatures we often overlook.
Right, we don't really pay attention to them.
They could be giving us clues
About the bigger picture.
about climate change.
Wow.
They might seem simple,
Right.
but they're actually incredibly complex.
And resilient.
And resilient, studying how they adapt can teach us so much.
About the impacts of climate change.
It's amazing how something like cockroaches
Which we don't really like to think about.
can lead to such interesting discussions.
It really is. It just goes to show you everything is connected.
Everything is connected, even those pesky cockroaches.
Even the cockroaches.
It really makes you think.
It does. It's amazing.
Well, before we go too far down that rabbit hole,
Yeah.
let's recap what we've learned about cockroaches today.
Okay. Good idea.
We started off by meeting those 4 most common types
Right here in San Diego?
right here in San Diego. The German, the American,
Oriental.
brown-banded.
Each one's got its own little personality.
They do. And we talked about why they're more than just a nuisance.
Right. They can be dangerous.
They're a real health hazard, spreading diseases, triggering allergies.
Especially in kids.
Especially in kids. Then we talked about some ways to deal with them.
Right. Some trips and tricks.
Some basic cleaning trips.
Maintenance.
More targeted treatments, like baits.
Crack and crevice treatments.
And of course, we can't forget those pros.
Right. Sometimes you just need to call in the experts.
Especially if you've got a really bad infestation.
Yeah, those pros, they know what they're doing.
They've got the tools, they've got the knowledge.
They can identify the exact type of cockroach you've got.
Exactly. And they tailor that treatment.
It's impressive.
And then we wrapped up by talking about climate change.
Right. Could climate change the cockroach game?
Exactly. Like, who's the top dog?
Which ones are thriving?
It's fascinating to think about how even these little creatures
That we don't even really notice.
can be indicators of these larger environmental shifts.
It really is.
So there you have it, folks. A deep dive into the world of cockroaches.
Not the most glamorous topic.
Not the most glamorous, but hopefully you learned something new.
Yeah, hopefully you found it interesting.
Maybe even a little surprising.
Cockroaches are full of surprises.
Now, if you enjoyed this deep dive into, well, I guess you could say the underbelly of Sandy
The
Day,
creepy crawly underbelly.
don't forget to like this episode
Yeah, give us a thumbs up.
and subscribe to our channel.
We've got more deep dives coming your way.
We do all sorts of fascinating topics.
We do.
And for more expert tips and advice on all things pest-related, be sure to follow Simple Pest Management on social media.
They really know their stuff.
They do. Until next time, stay curious.